My name is Dave Stewart Jr. I'm an English teacher who also only happens to teach world history right now in Cedar Springs, Michigan. You see some of my kids on the side and my actual children, my wife. That's my favorite part of the slideshow right up there. So I wish I could stay for longer than just a few seconds. I want to talk to you though about Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. In 1953, they became the first human beings to ascend Mount Everest and live to tell the tale. And I believe that their job was actually simpler than ours for one important reason. And that's this: if I were to pull 100 random people in Edmund and Tenzing's life and ask them, hey, what are they trying to do this year in one sentence? What's their objective? I would be shocked if I got any answers that weren't identical to all the rest. I'm trying to climb Mount Everest, dummy. But what if I were to pull 100 random people in this gentleman's life and ask them, hey, what is that teacher's job this year in a single sentence? Policymakers, principals, parents and students. I would be shocked if I had two identical answers, right? And probably some would seem to describe jobs taking place on different planets in different eras. And so it is very ironic, I think, that the profession that turns writing an objective on the board into a 4-hour training has no clear objective for the professionals. And the only solution to this is to put the autonomy back where it belongs, in our hands. And to answer this question, what is your Everest? We need to have an answer to that, a ready answer. If this was a normal situation and not this crazy Ignite talk, I would be quiet for 30 seconds and let you write. And I would, since your English teachers tell you to pump the brakes on the semicolons and stuff and try to make it simple, and I would tell you to revisit and revise that over time so that you could create something that you could really commit to and even put on your wall. And I'll be honest, I've been told by people, that's sort of a cute filler activity, man. Why don't you just next time you do this workshop, just skip straight to the practical strategies? And to which I can only respond, look, maybe it's that I'm simple-minded, but there's nothing more practical than this. If you come to my classroom in Cedar Springs and look up in the front, you're gonna see a sentence that says we're all about becoming better at 5 things: better thinkers, readers, writers, speakers, and people. That's it. And whether I'm teaching world history or English, if you come into my room, you better see us working on one or more of those things. Otherwise, we've lost our way. The kids know this too, by the way. It's an accountability mechanism so that we are on track. And this is true even during survival mode, which for some teachers is like 50% of the year, but for me is the entire year. Right? It was that time when I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow until right before tomorrow happens. This I can hold in my head, unlike a bunch of standards or even a bunch of professional books. And so this is not a puppy in a cup cute situation, this sentence. This is like the undergirding of a bridge. It's foundational. Everything that we do runs on what we encapsulate our work as. And I've actually been writing about my sentence, I guess you could say, for a few years on my blog at davestewartjr.com. This thing has looked different over the years, but it's the non-freaked out or foundations framework. And it's basically the sentence. On the sides, for the people in the back, it says build and organize knowledge and study and practice argument. This is about thinking. Argument, by the way, being collaborative and beautiful and democratic. In the middle, reading, writing, and speaking purposefully and often is the meat and potatoes of what we do. And then on the bottom, the non-cognitive factors that make a life. And so this framework helps me to take new ideas. Several years ago when I read about Kelly Gallagher's article of the week, I tried to ram that thing in on top of all the other stuff I was doing. But I've since come to see, well, that just fits because it's about knowledge building, which makes us better thinkers, right? And then Camille Farrington's 4 academic mindsets, which are absolutely beautiful and not what you think they are. You should look these up, if anything, from what I've said. Those fit. It's not a cute thing I have to add on. It makes the non-cognitive factors work that we do better, more efficient. And I'm sure that you maybe are a little more efficient than me, but when I needed my kids to argue, I invented something called pop-up debate, which is simple to a fault. Socratic seminar is far superior. But that wasn't something that I just sort of tacked on. That was part of this coherent picture. And the result of having this Everest sentence is that we move away from the problem of the siloization of English language arts education, right? We're doing this, and this, and this, and this, all these little discrete things. And this takes us away from what I think is a bigger problem, the paradigm of teacher as technician. I think a lot of us need a new technique like we need a lobotomy. Rather, we need to be reminded and given encouragement to just sit there and think deeply about what it is that we ultimately do, which is the promotion of long-term flourishing, right? If I could take all the sentences from all the teachers in the world, this is what education is. And this is what it will always be, by the way, no matter the policymakers or the powers that be. This is timeless. Thank you.
Yes.